everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing The Handmaiden.
Yes, a movie that was recommended to us by a longtime subscriber and somebody I love to see in the comments, Early Bird 3. So I'm excited because we've talked about movies, we being me and Early Bird. We also do. But we have been talking about movies a lot in the comments, just about the movies that we've talked about, and then they recommend some stuff too. So I always love seeing Early Bird in the comments. So we decided to watch this one, and it was very interesting indeed.
Yes.
I guess I'll go ahead and get into the synopsis. The Handmaiden is an enticing love story about a lady and a thief. We follow Suki, who's asked by Count Fujiwara to be part of a grand scheme promised to have a huge payoff. The plan? Suki will be Lady Hideko's. Hideko's? I think that's about it.
Oh no, I'm going to butcher so many names and I apologize. Continue.
Suki will be Lady Hideko's handmaiden and will convince her to fall in love with Count Fujiwara. Once the lady and the count are married, he will admit Lady Hideko to the mental asylum and take off with the money, splitting it with Suki, of course. The plan seems simple enough, except Lady Hideko is beautiful. Her beauty becomes a problem for Suki as she begins to fall in love with the woman she is supposed to swindle. As Suki's desire for Lady Hideko begins to grow, she must decide if she will continue with the heist or listen to her heart. Oh,
beautiful.
It sounds a lot more wholesome than it is.
It sounds really wholesome.
But yes, tell us more about this, Haley.
Okay. So The Handmaiden was released in 2016. It kept saying it's a romance drama, and then every now and then I'd see a description of it being a thriller, but it's absolutely a thriller with a dash of romance. And a lot of drama.
I don't know about a dash of romance.
I mean, it was romantic, but I was more stressed the entire film.
No, really.
Than anything.
Let me read what it says on Prime because I thought it was kind of funny. It was, it's not on here.
What do you mean?
It was only on the TV. It said it was a suspense drama, passion, something. So I'll put it up because I thought it was kind of funny. I've never seen anybody describe anything as passionate, but
I mean,
it definitely was.
There was passion. That's what we're gonna say. It ran for 2 hours and 24 minutes. It's not rated. Unless
Spicy.
it said it was rated on here.
It's an NR.
Yeah, no, NR. Well, this is R, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, interesting. Everything I've seen said NR.
Yeah, I was like, this is R. I'm pretty sure it's NR. It's NC-17, whatever they say. I don't even know. The director was Park Chan-wook, and the ratings, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give it a 96%. The audience gave it a 91%. IMDb gave it an 8.1 out of 10, which is pretty high.
Very high.
So high ratings for this movie. Let's get into the cast. And I just want to apologize ahead of time. I just want to apologize. There's no excuses. I just want to apologize.
She tries her best.
I try my best. So Kim Tae-ri is Suki. They spell it. I'm used to the S-U-K-I because in another interview it was like Suki, like S-U-K-I, but this one's like Suki. Like maybe that's how you more pronounce it, but they did the S-O-O-K. I think that's how they spelled it in the captions. Young Neo Lee is Boksoon. Ming Chae-yo is Giet Dan. Dong Hui Lee is Gugai. Kim Hae-suk is Miss Saskai. Sorry. Kim Min-hee is Lady Hideko. Is it Hideko?
I think that's right.
Ha Jung-woo is Count Fujiwara. Kyu Jung-lee made 1. Si Seun Kim made 2. And Siu Ha is made 3. The maids that I think were messing with her.
That got slapped around.
Yeah. Yes. Rina Tagaki is Hideko's mother, and Cho Jing-woong is Uncle Kozuki. Sorry.
You did great.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
Great cast. Fun facts, or just facts about the movie. So I found a few of these on IMDb, like the actual IMDb page. You can go on to kind of I think it's under trivia.
Yeah.
So the title in Korean actually translates to the lady, referring to Lady Hideko, while the English title is The Handmaiden, referring to Suki. So
interesting.
Don't really know why, but if you're looking for this movie that's actually the Korean version of the film, the original, it's The Lady. So it's based on the novel Fingersmith by Sarah Waters, published in 2002.
There was a lot of fingersmithing, if you know what I mean.
Oh, we'll get into that title. The novel is set in London during the 19th century, but the film is set in Korea in the 1930s under Japanese colonial rule. So a little bit of a difference there. So like the pornographic painting with the octopus in part 1 of the film is called The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife. Work of Katsushika Hokusai. And they were alive in the 1800s. Japanese artist of the Edo period. The pornographic story read by Hideko's aunt in part 2 was an excerpt from Jing Pangmei, The Plum of the Golden Vase, a Chinese erotic classic. So I believe they were reading and looking at some real stuff. Y'all wild. Y'all are wild.
We got 50 Shades of Grey and y'all got the fisherman's
tentacles. Good night. Kim Tae-ri was the handmaiden. She was selected for her role through auditions, which had approximately 1,500 applicants.
Golly.
And I believe he decided to cast her within the first, it says 10 to 15 minutes. So she was definitely a shoo-in for the role.
I think she was a good fit for that character for sure.
Yes. During the script writing stage, director Park and his female co-writer, Jeong Seok-young, often sought the advice of one of Chung's best friends, who is a queer woman, for advice on the sensibilities of queer women. Doing his research,
which is good,
which is great.
I think there's a whole message about males and
how they're just bad again. It's a running theme. According to Kim Min-hee, the hardest scene for her to shoot was the bed scene, as it was something she'd never done before.
That's Lady Hideko?
I believe so, yes. She had to consider for 3 days after reading the script on whether it was a scene she could pull off or not. In the end, she wanted to do the movie.
So if I read that scene, I would have been like, That's a lot of skin showing. All my crevices.
A YouTube channel called Curzon, Curzon. It's called In the Projection Booth, Park Chan-wook, director of The Handmaiden. So just like an interview with the director and just kind of his thoughts about the movie. So he was just talking about how good and bad is relative. So there are, and he said, obviously there are things where you can say that's bad, good, but that a lot of things are kind of subjective, up in the air, depending on who's doing it, why they're doing it, and the reasons for it.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of explores a little bit of that. They also asked him about if the octopus means anything, because apparently there's a previous movie he's done called Old Boy, where there's also an octupus referenced in there, but the director said no, not really. He just
likes octopi.
Listen. He said that they're just props used for practical reasons in the film, and he just wanted the octopus to be in the basement to kind of remind them of the painting that was ripped out. Because you're like, ugh. Although I had other questions about that. I'm sure we'll get into that later. So once again, based off the novel Fingersmith. So he read the book, and when he read the scene where the handmaiden was using the thimble to shave down the tooth in the bathtub scene, he realized, he was like, this is the movie. He already knew. This is that movie.
My man was turned on. He said, I love the tenderness between women.
The tenderness for sure. And it's kind of going off the novel. So from slate.com, just an article about Fingersmith, what it was based off of, written by Sarah Waters, once again based in the 19th century of England. So fingersmith is a Victorian slang word for pickpocket. So fingersmith, but it's also an erotic reference.
That's what I was getting at.
Women.
A little fingersmith.
Little fingersmithing, okay? But yeah, so it kind of has a double meaning there. And I think that's maybe why they renamed it The Handmaiden, because Handmaiden.
Well,
maybe
I don't know. Isn't that just a term for?
But why wouldn't they call it the lady?
Like they did the actual, the Korean one.
Yeah, they did The Handmaiden. So I don't know if they're kind of doing an ode to Fingersmith, but that's what the book's supposed to be. It also talks about how in this movie, they compared this director. He has this thing for voyeurism, like kind of watching. Somebody's always watching. So they kind of compare his films to that of Hitchcock, of that whole watching, like I think the main characters were doing some watching, uncle being weird, everybody's out of there, but just kind of a theme of you're always being watched. Somebody's always watching somebody.
Literally.
But back to the interview, he also says that the colonial era is just another hurdle they have to go through, because they were asking, why did you choose the 1930s? Obviously I think Korea, he's from Korea. So, why not make a film that's kind of the Korean version of that? But he said he also fused, visually, he fused a lot of the Korean, Japanese, and Western imagery together. So it was kind of a thing, because in this time, I think Japan was ruling Korea at this time. And there were a lot of different cultures being thrusted upon Korea at the time, like Japanese culture, Western culture. So he said, if you notice, like throughout the film, just like how things kind of look, the house itself and just like everything, it's kind of this terrible fusion of like Japanese, Western, and Korean culture. And he says it's supposed to come off as harsh and at times comedic, because it's kind of reflective of that time. It just was kind of a mess of just different cultures clashing.
Interesting.
Yes. He also talked about the obvious sex and sexuality of the movie. So he wanted to end on a sex scene because he says that Hideko was exposed to sexual violence at such a young age. So when she found love and intimacy with Suki, it was liberating and they had attained their freedom. So it's supposed to wrap it up and they're free and kind of sexually free and also physically free. So she was able to find her sexuality voluntary and without force, which is a contrast to kind of what she had experienced growing up, as well as her aunt.
Yep.
So yes, Kaylee, overall thoughts.
I'm kind of torn with this movie. I did really enjoy it because I think it has aspects of movies that I enjoy. I enjoyed it because it has aspects that I enjoy.
Yep, that'll do.
That makes sense. So like it kind of gives me a sense of Parasite where it started off one way and then it ends in a whole different way. Like I like how in the first part or part one, like we got kind of a different story from what we ended up getting in part 3. So I like movies that kind of go like that. We've talked about it a lot on this podcast, I feel like, about sex and the use of sex in movies and TV shows. I don't think I'm prudish, but I might be. So I think that was like after I got over like the initial shock of like
not the shock
clutching my pearls. But after I got over that and I was able to like kind of look up some more of like the symbolism of the movie, I was able to kind of, really rationally think about it a little bit more. But I can appreciate like the detail that went into this whole movie with like the costume design, the set design, and like the way that different shots happened. So I think it was done really smart. I just don't know if I could like recommend this movie to anyone because I like to recommend a lot of movies to like my parents and like the people that I love. This would be like recommending porn that I liked and it would be kind of weird. So I would recommend it to some of my friends. And that's probably about it. But yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty interesting story. I like the way that it was told. But yeah, I think I'm just a prude. But what did you think of this movie?
Overall, I really liked the movie. I definitely did not know where it was going. I was very confused. I had no clue what this movie was about. I was thoroughly confused. But in a good way of like, I don't know what's going on. So it kept my attention. There were definitely some sex scenes in there. I was very glad that I was alone watching it because there were some lengthy, drawn out scenes.
When we were first talking about this, Haley was like, yeah, I think I'll make my dad watch this because we didn't like know what this movie was about.
I was like, sounds like something my dad, thriller kind of thing. I'm like, okay, thank God that I did not do that foolery. Do not watch this with anybody you would be remotely uncomfortable watching something like that with. But I guess this director, this is kind of his thing. So I don't know if I think it's just his thing. I think if you're just going to watch some of his movies, they're going to be very graphic and very kind of disturbing, very
I've
unsettling.
Heard of Old Boy, and
have you seen that one?
I haven't because I heard that it was like kind of disturbing. So that's why I've always been hesitant.
Yes.
So like now, like if he's able to show sex in such an explicit way, I think Old Boy is supposed to be a little bit more violent, so he could probably show violence in a lot more explicit ways too. So I don't know if I will watch it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know that one. There's also another one I think with vampires. It's called Thirst.
It's called Thirst?
Thirst. No, it's called Thirst. Sorry, the part was me reminding. I was trying what is it? Thirst.
Oh, I was like, that was kind of cute.
Thirsty. No, about a doctor who is going under experimental treatment to cure something, but somehow his DNA or he gets injected with vampire stuff.
Isn't that like Morbius?
Ooh.
I didn't watch that movie either because it looked like booty cheeks.
But anyways,
continue.
that version. But no, just that kind of thing. So I guess it might just be expected with this director in particular. I don't know if it's because of the whole sexual liberating thing that he was trying to really, that was their freedom. So that's why it was more of a emphasis. Whether or not people think it needed that much emphasis, I don't know. But I guess that's why I was like okay with it, just because I was like, I think I see the point they're trying to make. Yeah. Once I got the entirety of the movie, because I think at first I was shook because I was like, this is random. Like it seemed like your pretty average movie up to that point, and then all of a sudden it's like a 5-minute like porn scene, seeing damn near everything. You know, I'm just like, oh, okay. But I guess at the end, as I was like, okay, I think that in these scenes it's supposed to be like really supposed to be meaning something. So but overall I liked it. I thought it was clever. I thought it had an interesting storyline. It definitely had its little twists and turns there. So yeah
I think we should start by addressing the elephant in the room, the
octopus
sex scenes. Ooh, and the octopus too, because honestly, oh my gosh, it could be. But okay, so like going back to like the meaning of the sex scenes, like so I know there was some like tension in the comments section that I was like reading about like if these sex scenes were done responsibly, because I think a lot of this is about like the male gaze and like how the books that Hideko was reading were written by men for men, so like it had nothing to do with the lady's pleasure, and the only time that she felt any kind of arousal is when she was thinking of Suki in the book that was about two girls hooking up, and then we see her reenact the scenes of the book. So like with the jingling balls
is that one of the books she wrote?
It was
reading. Okay,
yeah. So. And then whenever they were for the I'm so sorry, just Dad, please don't watch this.
We don't get banned. Say when they were just doing sexual things.
But I feel like that's important. So when they were doing that one thing with their legs, she read that book earlier that evening whenever they got to the fight, and then that's when she brought her to bed. So she was reenacting all of these scenes. So it's kind of like this is what she knows of women loving women, and she's only read it through this. So people are like, is this really like for women? Is this the female gaze? Is this the male gaze? I'm not quite sure, but I kind of understand like the purpose of like why she did certain things. So like I can understand the importance behind it, because if she's only been exposed to one sort of thing, of course when she's having sex with another woman, it's going to be that.
So they were saying that they think that the scenes are problematic because they're still for the male gaze, like they're talking about the movie itself.
I
didn't get that
because the director is a man, but then they're like, well, his co-writer is a woman, and they also like, you know, got some advice, help from people who are in the queer community.
Okay. So, I did not get that was problematic to
that.
Me. I don't know. It made sense to me. I mean, what are you going to do? What sex scene? You're going to make an unsexy sex scene? Or what's a sexy? I thought it was sex. Like when I was watching it, I was like, go ahead. I don't know. I guess I'm confused. I'm like, I get the whole male gaze thing, but I'm like, at some point it's women getting it on. I mean, it's sexual. I mean, would men find that sexual? I'm very sure they would. Right. But I guess I wasn't getting that these actresses in this scene was being exploitive. I didn't get that. Not me personally.
I don't think so either. And I understand like the reasoning behind it. Like, of course, she would be doing the sex scenes that she's read in books and everything. Because, so I understand that. But I think personally the scenes are a little too long.
They're a little long. And like the second sex scene when they
extended it.
Yeah, so they extended it because it was now the eyes of
Hideko. Yeah. So, but when the last one came on, when they're on the boat, I fast forward. I was like, okay, what else is happening after this? Because I'm like, I get it. They're putting balls.
Well, it's funny because I felt like I was just watching them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, but it kind of goes to the point of the voyeurism of now we are just watching in on this. And I'm just like.
On a very private event.
I know. I was like, not me on the ship with them. Jingle bells. I was like,
ooh, it is the season.
'Tis the season to get jolly.
Ooh, if you know.
La 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 la. Anyways, but no, I coming from a straight cis whatever woman, I thought that it was done well, but maybe I'm wrong. I may not be getting that, but I don't know. For me, I thought it was pretty decent representation. Like I thought that it seemed natural. It made sense. Like it made sense to me in the movie. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like any of the characters, like the two women were like forced. Not that they were forced to do it, but like that the characters were forced in their actions, like the way they were pushing the characters to go. So I thought it felt relatively natural to me.
I think so too.
I barely noticed it. Like it's like there are a few times I'm like, oh yeah, they're women, but to me, I was like a few times I just forgot about it. So I feel like that's good. Like I wasn't thinking so hard that, oh my gosh, they're like specifically lesbian. You know, they're two women.
No,
I was just like,
I just knew that they really liked each other. I was like, I'm like, what's going to happen next? Because
I know,
things are supposed to be betraying
it's
people.
It's the perfect setup though, because I was like, you could just really be her handmaid and no one's gonna know, girl. That is the nice thing at the time, is y'all had women that followed you around, so no one's gonna know. No one's gonna ask why she dressing you, sleeping in the room, girl. Y'all have it made. She's rich. She do what she want.
What was I going to say about the sex stuff? Because basically this whole movie is about sex. The old man really likes dirty books. And so then he has his wife and then his niece read the books.
Where was it his? So is that, because why did his wife pass again? His wife, not the aunt, the wife.
It's the same person.
Wait.
So Hideko, that was her aunt.
That's right. Sorry, I was getting confused. So her aunt was his wife, and then her mother passed, but when she was giving childbirth, whatever.
I think so.
Okay.
Because Suki's mom also died whenever she was like a baby or giving birth.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, so Hideko was already like an orphan, and then she went and lived with her aunt and uncle, and then her aunt passed away. Which was, I don't know, that whole like that scene of her like holding onto the tree, not when she tried to hang herself,
when
Hideko,
she was just
when she was
there, literally hanging
there,
with
I was
her,
like,
hanging out.
Girl, get some therapy.
You are, girl. That's not
like,
healthy.
I could feel the spirit of my aunt through the tree. I'm like, ooh, no.
Let her hang on the tree.
It was
It's
creepy.
the only thing she got.
Honestly, whenever we switch, like when we were at the end of part 1, I guess we could kind of talk about that. We could get more into the sex stuff later. But I think like the ending of part 1, it made the start of Hideko's like story a little bit. I thought she was more sinister. I was like, oh my God, she hated Suki, like not her like having sex with this woman. And then she left her in the mental asylum. So it's like, I was kind of shook. I didn't expect that to happen. Were you expecting that twist of like Hideko betraying Suki?
I don't know if I expected that. I knew something was up, because I was like, we got about another hour and a half of this movie, so I kind of knew something was up. But I was surprised that Suki originally like had kept going with the whole lie kind of through part 1. I mean, we know now that they eventually talked about it and took care of it, but like that made sense when she got slapped, when Hideko slapped Suki, because at first I was like, that was a little harsh,
for real.
But then I got it, because she was like, no, like love me, love me, and I was
then
like,
it was also like that.
Love her.
And there was also kind of like that betrayal, like she had nobody in the world, and the one person that she was like falling in love with was like, no, like you need to marry this guy so I can drop you off in the mental institution so I can get your money. So she was feeling that too. So it was like, dang, I could understand it now seeing it in the second time, but the first time I was like, golly. At first I thought it was gonna be one of them angry sex scenes, but no, she was just big mad.
She was mad. I guess I didn't fully get the plan, because like after they realized that they were in love with each other, could they just not just run away?
Not without,
because let's say the uncle, because that's who we're scared of, right?
Yes.
The uncle goes, okay, this girl ran off with my money. He needs to go find her. He goes, okay, I heard she's at this mental institution. I'm gonna go see her. So he goes to see her, and it's not Hideko, right? So then he continues to just look for Hideko. I guess that was my confusion. I'm like, okay, so y'all are doing the old switcheroo, but I guess he was planning on killing her. So then maybe
Suki,
before the uncle, before the uncle could get to see that it was actually Suki, she would have been dead, buried, gone. But I guess I'm like, why not just run away? Because it sounds like that's just what this plot will be at the end, is y'all just ran away and the uncle's going to find out. But maybe they were planning on killing her.
I don't know.
Before that, because the uncle seemed like he has his stuff
ready,
put together. So
that's true. I was kind of confused, but I also forgot it was like supposed to be back in the day. I was like, isn't it gonna be kind of easy to figure out that you're not Suki? Like, I was like, people gonna be like, ain't this lady Hideko acting?
Maybe they don't know what she looks like, because it's also back in the day. They didn't have selfies or Instagram or anything.
So I think she probably would have just gone far enough where nobody would know who she was if like the plan was not to kill Suki. So like, even if he found out this is not Hideko, he can't find her. She gone, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, why not just kill the uncle? This seems like a better plan. Like, she had that poison the whole time. I'm gonna just kill this man.
She didn't have the poison on her the whole time.
Oh, because she had to get it when they got married. They couldn't do nothing. He didn't want to kill the uncle. I'm like, it seems like y'all have the answers in the bag. This man drinks, I'm sure. Kill him. I don't think anyone's gonna miss this man. He didn't seem very nice.
Maybe those men who kept coming to the readings.
Sick. They said, full investigation. Full-blown investigation for this man.
I need my quality horny time that he provides.
I'm like, that man getting older anyway. Go ahead and poor Unky. Now he in the ground too.
Oh, R.I.P.
Or in the basement.
Ooh, with the octopi.
But maybe she was so scared of him that it was just more that
is.
thing if she just wanted to leave and didn't even want to be in the house.
Because she was planning on leaving anyways. You know about what I mean by leaving.
I'm sorry, that was funny. Remember when she let go? She's like, woohoo! She's like, oh. I was like, oh, get her!
That part was funny.
I was like, childish, how childish. But yeah, she literally dropped, and I was like, and then Suki was there to catch her and said, don't go.
I really, really liked the chemistry that they built with Suki and Hideko. Like, it was very tender moments. Like, even like besides like the sexual tension, like the moment where she was like, your mom would have not said anything about you like being born. There's no regret. She loves you, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was, and then when she caught her hanging, and I was like, oh, there's just like so many sweet moments between them that I could like, oh, and then that part where they were running away. Suki had the suitcases, jumped over the wall with the suitcases, and then the girl was like, oh, I can't go. So she went back over with the suitcases and put them down.
So she could step over like a lady. Yes. I was like, not her being the man of the relationship. Just kidding.
She's going to be used to taking care of her. That's all she's been doing.
She's a princess. Get taken care of.
It was really sweet moments. And then, but it was also just kind of funny. Like, whenever Hideko was like, oh, do you want to get in the bath with me? The girl was like, huh? And then she's like, all right. I was like,
she said, Hideko was like, girl.
I know. I think she was like, no, please.
She was like, it's jokesies.
She was like, well, come on in, I guess.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Right. But, so I really did like the relationship between Hideko and Suki. And I think that the two sex scenes that we did see, they do represent two different things. Because like the first one was all in the guise of like, oh, what would the count do? Like, show me how to please a man kind of thing. But in the end, it was just for them.
Yeah.
It was for them to be able to enjoy each other. But yeah, so it was very uncomfortable in moments, especially whenever Hideko was reading out of the books and we saw all those men getting really into it.
I was like, is this real?
Yeah. It was
real.
A lot.
I wonder how much they pay for that. I said, this man's not making they kept saying that the uncle's going broke. I said, off what? If he don't charge millions for this experience, because clearly these men are out of there.
Well, then he auctions the books off, and the books themselves are forgeries, so he making money.
He is. Yeah, that's why I was like, how's he broke? What's going on?
Yeah.
I guess that was his way of getting out of being broke. But yeah. And then she got on the wooden thing and hung in the air, and I was like,
there was a lot going on with that puppet. I
was like, what is that? How is this even? Okay.
And not them getting aroused by a book where the person who's having sex with her dies.
No, they were really into that. That dominatrix, suffocation.
It's all about that, like, because they have power over them, but then like they want to have that. They want to have that power over them.
Yes.
You get what I mean.
Yeah, I catch your drift.
Right. Patriarchy and then the opposite.
I'm surprised her uncle never like sold her physically, because she
kind of like it hinted at the book. Because like whenever they were like reading the book and then they would show scenes of them like kind of reenacting it, and it seemed like, oh, what would you give for 10 minutes with her?
Yeah. So that's why I was like, is she, being forced to have sex with these men or what? But I don't think so. And the uncle has seemed to never have touched her, which I was shooketh for. That's why I was very surprised about that.
I'm not shook at all, because he likes that build up.
Okay, you're right. That mystery. Because then at the end he was telling me all about
tell
it.
Me everything.
He said, "That's my wife, you dirty man."
He said, "You bastard, you rotten scoundrel."
But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, in the book, I was reading what kind of the differences were. So apparently at the end of the book, the adoptive mother, over the babies and everything back in the beginning. So she's apparently behind everything in the book. She orchestrated everything. She was going to end up killing both of the girls or getting rid of him and the guy. Like, she was going to take all the money for herself. So she but they end up, killing her or getting rid of her. I think she gets hung because,
in the book?
Yeah. But then Suki's character realizes that so the two girls actually switched places. So Suki was actually the daughter of the rich family and the mother, and then Hideko was actually, her character in the book was an orphan, and then they were switched. I could not find out why they were switched.
They were switched when? At birth?
At birth, yeah, when they were babies. So they realized that they're both kind of royalty, and then they end up splitting the money.
Oh, but they don't like fall in love?
They do fall in love. Yeah, it's kind of basically that same thing. I couldn't figure out why they were switched as babies, because that didn't make sense to me. Because why give your baby just to get another baby that's a girl? Like, doesn't make sense. Anyway, but I couldn't find it because they're just very brief synopsises or whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever. But that's how it goes in the book. So Suki's actually not from the streets.
I like how she's
is.
Was it riff raff street rat scoundrel from Aladdin? Oh,
you were singing it not quite the way that I remember that song going.
This one he's sad.
Yes, that was Suki in the streets.
I kind of like that she was a little pickpocketer though.
She wasn't very good.
She wasn't very smart.
she
kept spilling the beans. She said he thinks about your assets. I mean your face. I'm like, girl.
I was like, I thought she would be a little more. I guess that's the way they chose her.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
She's naive as hell.
And that's why she was like, girl, you thought you were tricking me. I was tricking you. Not while you were being held by her and not dying. Not you telling her that.
Wild.
But yeah, it was cool seeing the second part where we got to see Hidiko's like plan or the portion of the plan.
Yeah, I was also kind of confused in the beginning. I was like, why is Hideko being so like, she seemed overly open and welcome to Suki. Like Suki just got there and she's like, try my dresses, do all this, come over here. And I was like, I thought they were gonna kind of like not like each other at first, and then but she was like right into it of like friendship, so it made sense the second part when I was like, oh, this was all a part of the plan and the whole letter thing. And my dumb ass was kind of confused. I had to look up a little bit what was going on because I was like, what? And then I realized what was going on because the Count wrote the letter, told Suki that
what the letter said. Yeah, because he like was reading it. He's like, listen up, and then she kind of resaid it, but she forgot it because she's illiterate.
But that letter, that's not what the letter said at all.
No, it was like, hey, make her try on your dresses.
Instructions.
Blah, 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 blah.
I was like, wait, what is this letter? And then I was like, intelligence. So
it was smart because that girl was blinded by the money. She said, cannot wait, and then she was blinded by the woman. But yeah, I just like how smart it was. Like it did give me like vibes of Parasite, like how everything was so intricate to have like the family infiltrate the other, like the rich family, and like how they all got a job there and everything. Like it was cool seeing the puzzle pieces line up and we're able to see like, oh, this is the plan. But then it get flipped on us again when we find out that they're in love and they're like, no, we're going to get help from my people who know how to scam, and then we're going to dress you up as a man and we're going to live our lives. And that was basically the movie. But yeah, I did watch this video about like the symbolism of it, and he was talking about like the gloves and everything. I don't remember everything that he said, and I did disagree with one of the things he was talking about. He was talking about how the men who were watching the reading were wearing all like tuxedos, and he was like, it kind of looks like straitjackets. I'm like, they look like tuxedos to me.
I think they're just rich men who get to do whatever they want to do.
Imagine getting dressed up all fancy just to get a hard on. Crazy.
This was 1932 or whatever.
They had nothing else to do.
They don't have sweatpants. They don't have casual wear. And then when I saw the octopus in the basement, I was like,
yes,
was this used?
That's okay. That's why I asked Tristan at the end of this. I was like, do you think that when he brought the ant down there, I don't know, and was there body parts in those jars too?
Yeah, I think it was like parts,
women parts and men parts.
And parts. That's why I was like, so not that I wish they went in more, but I was like, I didn't get the full effect that he had a ton of victims. I thought it was just like the women under his control. So when I saw more of I was like more curious of, is this just something I guess he's just been doing his whole life, or like is this just people in the house? I was a little bit confused by that. Not that I need to know. That's just a curiosity of me going like, wait, what's the extent of this? Because he had a whole basement, which we don't see to the end. Yeah. Because we see it through Hideko's eye. Like we see her reacting to it.
Us getting teased.
Stop. Wait. Why would you do that?
That's what they do this whole time in this whole movie. It's a whole bunch of teasing.
Some of it was pretty not teasing at all.
And then a lot of fulfillment.
But yeah, so did she see her aunt down there? Like what was going on?
No, he was telling her what happened to the aunt, because at the point the aunt died.
No, but like she saw something and I was like, is she still there? I was confused. I thought they buried her because she was like like scared, and I was like, what is she looking at?
Maybe all the torture devices he had and the body parts. I would be looking like that too. You know what, Uncle? I'll go back to reading. I'll never do anything again. No,
that's
why she didn't want to run away. And like instead of like wanting to kill that man, she was just gonna take herself out.
Run. Oh yeah, or run from life. Yeah,
from life in general. Yes. So
I'm surprised he didn't watch her more, because I'm like, don't you think she would also do that?
Because he did say that lunacy like runs in the family. But I think it was also interesting that they had the snake in the library with like knowledge, but then all of the knowledge ended up just being porn.
Typical men. No, I was thinking he had some great extensive library.
You were smart. You just like to read dirty stories.
He said he's just a dirty old man. I said
he is. So, but I was kind of stressed out, honestly, whenever they were destroying all the books in the library. I'm like, girl, y'all need to get going because I don't know who's going to catch y'all.
They were going to get caught or
the whole
something.
Time,
but you know what? Suki said, listen, this is how we do it on the street.
Right.
So was she the one who ripped the page from that book? Because I thought, because she saw the picture of the octopus. She was like, what is this? And she rips it. And then I noticed that when in the flashback, that page was ripped. Remember? Because they were like, it's worthless. We can't even see the picture. I
think that was the same book, though.
I could have sworn it was the same.
Because I thought it happened before Suki's
Maybe not.
arrival.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. So I could be making that up.
I also liked at the very end whenever he was dying of mercury, which was like kind of cool. I was like, not you lighting up this man's cigarettes. I'm like, it's obviously a ruse. He's trying to do something.
You're not cutting mine off.
I know.
I think that's what they were doing.
To die dignified.
I guess so. I was like, nah, that would not have ended well for you, sir. Go ahead and smoke that mercury cigarette. For real.
He was taking them deep breaths.
I'm surprised he didn't die first. I'm like, weren't you inhaling the cigarette? Like, would that not have just gone into your lungs? But you know what?
And then
he's probably the adrenaline going.
Also, Hideko, like, she was drinking the opium wine, but didn't get drowsy.
She spit it in his mouth.
I know, but if it's
just a little bit.
Yeah. She had how many swallows?
I don't think she swallowed.
Well,
just in her spit.
She had a little bit
in
there.
With it.
She should have been.
Just the fact that it touched her skin.
Yeah.
This is a different type, okay? They don't have the potent stuff we have today, okay?
Right. I'm pretty sure it would have been. Anyways, whatever.
We don't know where it's
but with the mercury part, whenever he was like looking back at all the things, all the signs that he missed, that they were actually in love with each other, like them holding hands, the fact that she was getting aroused about like women loving women in that book. I'm like, yeah, dude, you missed all them signs because it was kind of obvious.
Typical men.
They were like, look at those two friends. It's
like two pretty best friends. Right. Wow.
Anyways, let me and my wife go. Wow. I'm like, boy, bye.
And then at the end when he like was like, I think I love you, I was like, oh, shut
I know.
up.
And yeah.
She don't like y'all. Y'all made it impossible for her to even look at y'all like that.
I'm so glad it didn't get to where it could have gone whenever they were in the hotel together. I was getting kind of nervous.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. I said, this is already too much.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that kind of scene. But we didn't. Thank God. He fell over. I said, no, my little heart can't take any more.
And then not him waking up with no pants on, talking about, hey, you want to go catch my pants over there?
Yeah, they said, yeah, you're going to get murked.
He said, you know what? We'll get your pants back.
See, y'all going to have to kill me there. I'm not going back.
Because I'm not getting tortured.
No, I'm not going back. I know something's... You already know what he does.
But that's why he was like, let me go ahead and smoke all 3 of these cigarettes at the same time so he can only choose from the cigarettes that are left. Smart of him to having laced cigarettes of mercury.
Boy, he said the day may come. He stays hood ready.
He said, you know what? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Always be ready.
But yeah, so I guess it's time for ratings. I feel like we kind of rambled along in this one.
Oh, well.
We didn't have like
a long movie.
It was good though. But anyways, what do you rate this movie, Haley?
I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Oh wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah, I don't think I've given it a 5 out of 5 before, but I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I think it was entertaining. I think the storyline was good. I think that it made sense. It was intriguing. It had a lot of layers to it. I felt like the characters, like the acting was well done, and I was believing the characters, and nothing really felt forced to me. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
I think I'm going to give it a 3.5, and I only take off half because I feel like I really can't recommend this movie to like my parents.
That's not a scale of rating, Kaylee.
It really is.
It's not just because you can't. I might, but it's not about would you recommend it to these specific people.
So the fact that you're telling me how I rate movies is interesting.
Because that's not the movie rating.
So not you put. I'm not rating it for everybody. I'm rating it for me. This is my opinion. Y'all coming to the Haley and Kaylee show.
So that's our name?
Right.
So you're telling me part of your rating has to do with if you can recommend it to your mom and dad?
I feel like that. No, I feel like it goes into recommendation. Like, I don't even think I would be comfortable recommending this to like a coworker.
Well, don't do that.
But I recommend movies all the time. That's the thing.
Would you recommend it to me?
I don't know.
Oh, this really hurts you. Let's talk about it.
Hey guys, Editing Kaylee here. I just wanted to try to clarify what I was talking about. Do a little talk with you guys because I feel like I was getting really flustered because Haley made me feel bad about my opinions, like she does always. But basically, what I'm saying is that I feel like recommendability is a big factor in my rating system, even though I don't really have a rating system. But I think being able to recommend a movie is really important to me because I really love to talk about movies. And the way that we talk about them is if you recommend them for people to watch. And I feel like with this movie, because of the really long sex scenes and how graphic they kind of are, it's kind of hard to recommend this to a lot of people off the bat. I feel like you would have to kind of know the person and their tastes. So that's really what I'm saying. I know I said my parents a lot because that was the only thing I could think of. But I mean, and plus, like, I have 5 friends and like 2 of them are my parents. So that's why I talk about them. But what I really meant was just a wide variety of people. So I really did enjoy this movie, but I feel like because I can't recommend it a lot, I would have to kind of bump down my score a little bit. That's all I meant. It's a good movie if you don't mind sex scenes. That's it. If you like them, go for it. I believe in you. You'll like it. It's great. It's a great movie. Get frisky. Why not? But anyways,
okay.
Back to my overall thoughts.
3.5 out of 5.
Rating.
Okay.
Yes. So I feel like that does come into play.
Okay.
Because, I mean, like, what?
I made a joke. I didn't make a joke. You made the joke. I just laughed. You'll watch it back. You'll get it. Okay.
Maybe. We'll see. I'll put it on the screen. I did it. But yes, overall, I did like the movie. I think the twists and turns were really intriguing and it was very interesting. I didn't know where it was going to go. It gave me good vibes. No, They gave me vibes of Parasite, which I really also enjoyed. Okay. But yeah, it's really just comes down to the sex scenes. It did cloud my visions a little bit.
Okay.
Your visions.
All of them. All 3.
All 6 of them. But yes, if you like things with twists and turns and nooks and crannies, then you'll love our Instagram.
No, you won't. Nothing.
You'll be very disappointed. But you'll still love our Instagram at Haley and Kaylee. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast, and we have a website at Press Podcast where you can check out some stuff there. What else do we have?
If you're watching us now, we have a YouTube channel at Haley and Kaylee. You can watch this video as well as all of our other movie reviews and various little videos we do from time to time there. You can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you thought about the movie, your recommendations.
Yes, because
everything.
We listen. We took a recommendation from you guys. Thank you, Early Bird. Again, I really do appreciate it. Early Bird 3. Not 1, not 2.
3. Thank you.
We appreciate you. I appreciate the recommendation. It was a great one. Even if it seems like I was a little, uncomfortable. But it was good. It was a good movie. So next time we will be talking about the new Avatar movie that's coming in theaters. Oh, so if y'all want to watch that, watch it with us. I'm kind of mad, though, because I wanted to watch the new, Knives Out. It was called Glass Onion. It was in theater for a week, and now they're taking it off out of the theaters.
It didn't do well?
It did do well.
So why are they taking it out? They just put it on streaming?
No, not until the end of December. Isn't that wild?
Maybe they ran out of contract stuff with
I don't know what they did.
Cinemas. I
heard somebody, they're not looking for movie tickets. They're looking for subscribers. So why'd y'all put in the movie?
Yeah, why?
Anyways. But yes, we're talking about Avatar instead.
Yes. Hi everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing... Nope. I keep wanting to say The Handmaid's Tale, but that's not what it's called.
Definitely didn't watch that one.
No. Hi everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today Nope.
Good, because I said it weird because I was holding the book back.
You ready? Hi everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing The Handmaiden. Fuck. One more time. Hi everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing The Handmaiden.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I made a weird face.
Oh no.
I went like this. Sorry, one more time. Hi everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're reviewing The Handmaiden.
Yes.